So, Rebecca, I just wanted to kind of start with our review of the scores on the mood survey, and looks like sort of a plateau for the since the semester started, and maybe a little sort of gradual decrease in some of these scores, and the suicidal thinking, it looks like, has started up. Again, is that what this is the the suicide monitoring score? Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah, like I feel like I was doing really well at first, and I was logging all the time, and I found that it was really great for me to do the modules and everything. But I think just maybe right now, I feel like the only reason I've kind of gone downhill a little bit in my symptoms is because of busyness with my courses and my first year at MUN. So I'm kind of hoping to just kind of get back on track with my logging and everything, and maybe being more accountable to someone or to you, maybe to make sure that I'm completing them, because I do feel better after.
So maybe just sort of making a commitment kind of thing to get back into the logs. And one of the things I was thinking as I was looking at these scores before you came in is there are some new features in Tao. They're constantly adding in new modules, and one of the new features is an app version for both Android and iPhones, where you can do the logs on your cell phone.
Oh, okay.
On your smartphone. And you have a smartphone?
Yeah.
And that might actually be really timely for you, because you're finding the crunch in terms of finding time to do a log. With it being on the phone, it's much easier to do. You don't have to navigate the website. It's right there at the front end of the app.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
So I think, if I recall correctly, you were doing monitoring logs. Did you ever do the anxiety logs that have the relaxation programs built in, like the meditations?
No, I hadn't.
Okay.
No.
So, now, unfortunately, that is one piece that isn't on the app.
Okay.
But the monitoring logs, I think, if I recall, were helpful for you to kind of just, on a daily basis, checking in with the anxiety events and checking in with the thinking.
Yeah, I like the logging aspect of it, because it made me, like you said, kind of check in with what I was feeling and how I was feeling. And when I stopped that, then I do think that could be the reason why my graph is showing those symptoms again.
Yeah. So then the anxiety scores, let's just see where they're right here. So they actually have been improving a little bit. I'm wondering if there's anything else that within the program, maybe some other modules that might be helpful, because what I look at here is this well-being score it was quite a bit higher, and I'm not quite sure what your sense is of that, just sort of general well-being. Maybe that's school, is it? Just sort of...
I think it's kind of like a combination of what I initially came to you from the very beginning of counseling, like how down and out I was, and then getting better with coming to see you and doing this online. But then just kind of life happening again, and just kind of not keeping up with the work I was supposed to be doing on my own, and then just kind of spiraling out again. But I feel like I can get it back. It's just kind of like you said, maybe if I do have the app on my phone, I would have a break in between class, and I could just do it really quick in between, because I hadn't done it on my phone before.
Are some of the anxieties about I remember when you first came in, we talked about sort of not sure where you're headed with your program. So I don't know if you had any more thoughts on major or declaring a major or anything. Is that sort of getting any clearer, what you want to focus on in your studies?
Yeah. In some ways, I feel like I've been so busy just trying to keep up with the first year courses that I've been trying to still kind of nail down what I'm interested in, but I'm still just not quite sure. I know I have an interest in education, and I really like working with kids, but I just don't know yet if that's what I should be doing, I guess.
So I just had an idea about the monitoring log. So as you remember, it starts with the worries that you're having. Well, actually starts with the situation that you were in, and then the worries, and then what might have contributed to the worries. And I think that's an area that on your log you might want to focus on. Answering that question, well, is it because I need to find what I'm interested in? Is that why my worries are here? What is it that's contributing? Think a little bit more about that. Spend a little more time on that, and perhaps that will help you to start, and us when we check in, to generate ideas about what are your passions and interests, because this well-being score is often about hope, and hope is about, that you've got a kind of future that you're looking forward to, and so I'm kind of thinking we need to work on that, as well as the life functioning score. When I looked at your actual responses, that seems to be, as you're saying, related to school, and you're not sort of feeling like you're quite transitioned in well and adjusting well with your schoolwork. So maybe the logs could be focused on that, on where you're headed and where you are with school. And see what happens with your mood as we shift that focus. How does that sound?
Yeah, I think I do need to be logging again, and like you said, just more so focusing on something, so I can go in and be like, okay, I have to keep it on this topic today, or talk about this today in my log.
You can, of course, be on any topic, but I think sometimes having a bit of structure, feeling free to deviate from that if you need to, but somewhere to start.
And I'm kind of a structure person, as we talked about, so I feel like that might be a good fit.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is these scores are not severe scores. I think if you look back here, it was you were in worse shape back then. We're sort of on at the spot right now where this might be kind of typical and normal for a student in first year. But my goal is always to see if we can make it better.
Right. Okay.
Good. So the other thing is, if you thought doing a meditation might help, you can't get it on the app, but if you log on into the website, what that allows you to do is same thing as the monitoring log, but after you rate your anxiety level, you do a meditation that's short, and then you rate your anxiety again. And some students find it's really cool to see, well, did it drop? And then if it did drop, they can kind of high-five themselves and say, good.
So it shows you right after.
Shows you right after,
okay.
Yeah. So if you want, give that a shot. But I understand, especially at this point in the semester, it's busy.
But if they're shorter, I wouldn't mind checking it out. I haven't done it before, so. Okay.
So if I'm hearing correctly, it would be good for us to book in. Then I noticed some of our appointments have been a month apart. Let's, what do you think? Should we try some, how about we try some weekly ones that are shorter? 15 minutes. That way, using just a small amount of time, we're going to be really focused. And structured, because we don't have time to wander, right?
And I'd like to have like that check-in, just so you're asking me if I've done my log, just because I haven't really been doing them lately.
Good. And is it easier for you to do as we've been doing in-person check-ins, or would a video check-in also be an option? We've never really talked about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty familiar with, like, would you use Skype, or what do you use?
It's built into this program. It's a little more secure than Skype. So at the top of your screen, I think there's an option for start video conference.
Okay.
So we could give that a shot next time if it's more convenient, because you're still out of you commute in from out of town. Okay. So that's an option. Right. Either one works fine from my end. But if you'd like to try that option when you go out to book in, just make sure that you indicate it's a video session.
Okay. Yeah, that would work on busier weeks for sure.
Okay. Was there anything else that we didn't cover today that you wanted to touch base on?
No, I think I like seeing the visual, because I hadn't realized that I was kind of lower than where I was, and that I went high, but then I went low again. So, but it's nice to see my progress too, because like you said, I'm not where I was in the beginning, but I'm just I'm a little bit lower than where I was about a month ago.
Nothing to worry about, but just it's an opportunity for us to up our game.
Right.
Okay. Good. Okay, so then I'll see you sometime next week.
Perfect.
Great. Okay.